What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. Before I go ahead and get started, real quick, if you want to know where you can get in contact with me and stuff like that, be sure to check out my socials. I will have the links for all of them in the description box down below. Be sure to check out my Discord. That's where I tend to be most active, even though I might not post a lot, usually only for announcements and stuff. I am lurking. I always have Discord open, and I will always have my eyes out for certain things that people might be talking about or wanting to tag me in. So if you have like a video that you want me to do a reaction to, that is most likely where I will see the requests and jump over there and check them out. Now, with that being said, let's jump into this video. Now, this is a video by a content creator that I've been a fan of for a very, very long time. I first got introduced to the Angry Video Game Nerd way back in the mid 2000s when they were releasing his videos on GameTrailers.com. I jumped over to YouTube a little bit after Game Trailers fell off, and I've been consistently watching just about every one of his videos ever since. This is a new video that he released not too long ago. How long ago was this released? Well, it says 12 days ago since the making of this video, and I had it in my back burner. When it first came out, I was like, that seems like it'll be something that I want to do a reaction to. Because in case you are just now becoming aware of my channel, a little bit before I took my year-long hiatus or whatever, I was very big into retro commercials. I have several videos on my channel already dedicated to retro commercials. When I was streaming, that was one of the key videos that I would try to watch, commercial compilations from particular decades. I'm a huge fan of nostalgia and retro things. As a matter of fact, I talked in the previous video about possibly starting a retro channel, and I think I'm probably going to end up doing that. So be on the lookout for that. If it does pop up, it will be in the description box. I still have some work to do on this channel. Now, I'm not planning on sticking on this channel for a long time, but for the time being, I would like to upgrade it and change some of the art assets and different things like that, because the channel looks a bit dated and unprofessional, I guess would be the best term. But anyway, let's jump into this and see what the Angry Video Game Nerd has for us. Video dedicated to video game commercials. I love it. I love nostalgic stuff, and like at the time, you probably don't think too much of commercials, but they always leave an impression on you. Chances are you can hear a particular jingle or a particular sound, and it immediately makes you jump over to commercial or anything like that. So let me know what your favorite retro commercials are in the comment section down below. If any of the commercials in this video stick out to you, be sure to let me know how they make you feel. If you purchased any of the products that the commercials are showing, let me know what you think about that, or give me a possible review of that product that you got, and was it any good? With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it, and let's see. I will have a link for Angry Video Game Nerd's channel at the end of this video. The last 20 or 30 seconds, you'll see an icon pop up right here. Click on it, it'll take you to their channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all the other good stuff.
Okay, remember Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, I used to actually play all those old PC games, and I watched the TV show and all that. Well, the world's
I will be
most
pausing a
legendary
lot too.
thief is
Sorry.
back.
I will be pausing a lot because this is something that this type of content is going to be something that I'm going to have a lot to speak about. So expect a lot of pauses. I do remember Carmen Sandiego. First time I ever remember playing the games, it was, I believe it was on Nintendo, the original Nintendo. There was a Carmen Sandiego game that was essentially like a point and click detective game. And I remember that game used to like scare me for some reason. I don't know if it was like the music, like the sound stingers or whatever, whenever like you would run into Carmen Sandiego, or I think it was like some type of detective that would pop up and like give clues that like scared me or something. It was something, I forgot. It was like a shadowy figure or something like that that would pop up every once in a while, and there was like a stinger that popped up when they came through, and it was kind of frightening for me. But let's go ahead and see if he talks about that particular game.
Games, and I watched the TV show and all that. Well, The world's most legendary thief is back in a brand new video game out now. Rookie gumshoes and seasoned detectives are invited to put their sleuthing skills to the test.
Where
Play
in
as the
the
world's
world
greatest
is
thief,
Carmen
Sandiego, for
Sandiego?
the first time in franchise history.
Also the
and
TV
dive
series.
headfirst into a world of
I remember the
globe-trotting
TV series.
espionage as you work to outwit
With the woman
Vile's
from,
smartest operations. Carmen Sandiego wouldn't
Lean
be
on
a
Me.
legendary thief without her gadgets.
The one that
Crack
was
safes,
always
swing from building to
going
building
at
with her grappling
Mr.
hook,
Clark.
and find clues in the dark using night vision and thermal imaging goggles to stop Vile's scheme. Travel around the world searching for clues and deciphering clues as you tackle a variety of mini-games in your search for Vile. Use the evidence you collect to uncover Vile operations. Is their hair black? Do they like seafood? What color are their eyes? Use your detective skills to narrow down the suspects, issue an arrest warrant for the culprit, and find them before they escape. Carmen Sandiego is available now for PC and console.
So is
Use
Carmen
my link in the
Sandiego a
description below to
detective
get your
now?
copy now.
I thought she was the criminal.
When it comes to retro games, sometimes the memories that stick out the most are not actually about the games themselves, but the commercials that would air on TV. Now, in the past, I've made many references to these commercials.
Hey, you still don't own a Sega CD?
I used to love those 90s commercials, the ones that used to come directly at you and be like, hey, are you some type of nerd? If not, then you need to get this. Get this. Like, they used to always be like over the top. I think it peaked for me in the early 2000s with that one dude that was like shaming you into getting into college. Hey, are you a piece of shit? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You're doing nothing. Get off your butt and sign up to a college. The number's right here. It's right there. You lazy fuck. Get up and do something. He didn't really say that, but that's what it seemed like. He was very personal with those attacks that he was giving.
But it's about time we actually sit down and take a look at some of these commercials, because back then, I tell you, the airwaves were like the fucking Wild West. I mean, video game companies would do anything to advertise their product. They might do something weird or something funny, or just something creepy, maybe. Well, let's take a look at some of the most
Or disgusting.
commercials
I remember a lot of commercials
from
involving
that
like
crazy pastime.
people exploding and vomiting and
First up, all those Atari commercials.
eating and having, like,
I'm
messes
actually old
everywhere.
enough to remember some of these. And here's that famous jingle.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to stick with the Atari stuff. Atari is before my time.
Yeah. Have you played Atari today? Have you? No? Well then, have you eaten breakfast? Have you gotten any exercise? Got any fresh air? Well, fuck all that. If you haven't played Atari today, then what are you doing with your life? Come on.
The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600
Oh, yeah,
Atari.
Hell yeah, the fun
I
is...
forgot the rudimentary rap. Oh man, who remembers the rapping that would appear in commercials that was like, even though the 90s had already hit and it like you already heard like the new evolved form of rap that was going on. You know, you have like gangster rap and boom bap and all this other stuff. Like there was like so many different like advanced varieties of rap, but they were still going, yo, check it, yo. It's about time you hear this rhyme, in which case we will play the game together. And it was weird. Like, it was so like early 80s. Yo, check it. I'm about to show you a crazy way we can play some Atari today. Like, it was some shit like that. And it was like...
is back. Where did the fun go in the first place? Who knows? Who cares?
Now, isn't that nice? The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
I just remember a lot of
Little
rhymes
jingle
ending with
left
"in a
such an
crazy way."
impression on me that whenever anybody says
That line
"Isn't
will always
that
appear
nice?" I always
somewhere.
have to fight the urge to finish it with,
Something.
"Oh,
So
yes,
I'm over
siree.
the something
It's
in a crazy way."
2600
Like
from
it always
Atari.
did.
You got to get that Atari. Yeah, and then people look at me
Let me
like,
go back a bit.
"600, isn't
I
that
missed
nice?"
what
I
he
always
said.
have to fight the urge to finish it with, "Oh yes, siree, it's the 2600 from Atari." You got to get that Atari. Yeah,
All
and then
the
people look at
syllables.
me like, "Yeah, I'm old." But the Vanguard commercial is pure gold. You have these nerdy kids sitting around playing the game.
Is that
but
Bill
then,
Gates?
what happens when you can't beat the final boss? Well, hand the controller to some meat-headed bozo.
But fellas, who destroys the gun?
Luther destroys the gun.
It's like a young Shawn Michaels.
What? Luther, man. You don't fuck with Luther. What's the guy's deal? So either this dumb Hulk is the only guy who's skilled enough to beat the game, or has he bullied those kids into making them hand over the controller anytime they get to the end?
Nah, see, look,
Kids into making them hand over the controller.
Look at that face. This is a man that lives for this moment. Nah, he ain't bullied them. This is the one thing that he truly excels at. So like he appears anytime somebody opens this game up, he just appears like smoke and is just sitting there waiting to confiscate that goddamn controller. This is this man's moment. He peaked. I guarantee wherever the hell he is, he's probably balding and he probably is overweight and a fraction of what he used to be. But I guarantee you, for one split second, when he hears the sound effects of that game turning on his TV, something lights up inside of him. I guarantee it. Just for a moment, he's back in his heyday. I promise you that. So nah, he ain't bullying. They're doing him a favor. This man needs this.
Anytime they get to the end. Then there's this ad for Pitfall.
Just last night, I was lost in the jungle with
Is that Jack Black?
surrounded by
Wait, who
giant
is that?
scorpions.
Is that who I think it is? Is that isn't it? It's Jack Black. I'm asking, is that Jack
Is
Black?
that Jack
It must
Black?
be. It has to be him.
It looks like him.
Before he was Bowser, before he was trekking through the jungles of
It definitely looks
Jumanji,
like him.
He was hyping up the pixelated perils of Pitfall. Everybody knows Super Mario Brothers, but what about plain-ass regular Mario Brothers?
Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
Well, in this ad for the Atari 5200, we see what must be one of the first live-action portrayals of the Mario Brothers. Well, at least Luigi appears here.
For those that know, what was Mario's first job?
Yeah, that was the
It wasn't
catchphrase,
plumber.
I guess. Yeah, long before
Let me see how many.
Let's Go.
Let me see how many OG Nintendo fans there are out there.
Oh, shut up, Luigi, motherfucker. Now, at the time, as a kid, I never thought that video games would ever advance beyond this. I mean, you move a joystick and stuff happens on the TV. That's crazy. How could it get any better than that? Well, then came Nintendo. No longer was it just about getting the high score. Now you had full-fledged adventures like Zelda. Best way to sell it was with two kids rapping in front of the TV.
It's the Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are pretty bad.
Who the hell does that? Imagine if you invited your
Same
friend
rap
over
style.
to play a game and you just start rapping.
With your help, our hero pulls through. Yeah, go Link, yeah.
Well, nothing said it better than Nintendo Power. It was like a doped-up MTV acid fest.
I never actually owned Nintendo Power. I do regret it though. I was never really a Nintendo like fan like that. Like I played Pokemon. I was a fan of Mario, but I wasn't like hugely into it. I didn't own a Nintendo 64. I've told you guys a million times I bought Pokemon Stadium while never actually owning a Nintendo 64 because I love Pokemon that much. But at the same time, Nintendo Power did have a lot of interesting like stuff in it. But because I wasn't into the systems and the games all like that, I didn't really own it. But now, since it's been discontinued and everything, I deeply regret it. But I do know that there's a place that you can go to where you can read all the Nintendo Power volumes. And I think it's internetarchive.com. I think that place has like a lot of retro magazines that you can like go back and look in for free. I was more of a GamePro guy. I was subscribed to official PlayStation magazine, official Xbox magazine. Xbox magazine in particular I really love because they used to always give you a demo disc. And I can only tell you, like, for those of you that experienced demo discs, those were the shits. Especially like the Pizza Hut demo discs during the PlayStation 1 era. Oh yeah. Anybody that still collect those, let me know if you have them. I'm not going to buy them off you or anything because I'm pretty sure that you're probably going to ask for a lot of money for that stuff. But just let me know what your opinions are of it because I remember those days and just something as simple as like the menus, the way the menus were designed and the sound that you would hear coming from those was enough to trigger that nostalgic dopamine going through your veins. I love going back and listening to like those retro sound effects and stuff. Kind of reminds me of Sega Channel too. Sega Channel also had something like a really retro groovy sound effect in the menus and stuff.
Nothing said it better than Nintendo Power. It was like a doped up MTV acid fest. But that magazine was
I don't even remember a
so
commercial
much
for Nintendo Power
it
now
made
that I think
the
about it.
planet Earth explode. I'm backing that up. The planet Earth explodes. Damn.
That's a lot of
That
power.
magazine conjured up the apocalypse. Now, speaking of power, there was the Power Glove. Now, everybody knows the Power Glove was a piece of shit, but from the commercial,
They did call it bad. I
you would never
mean, they
know.
were warning you.
Now, I'm not talking about that famous scene in The Wizard, which was like an advertisement in itself.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
No, I mean
Yeah.
the actual TV commercial.
He meant that
this
literally.
was one of those times when they knew what they were doing. They made the Power Glove look awesome. Maybe it is awesome if you have a giant screen in a futuristic science fiction room.
Since they had Jack Black, they gotta have the commercial with Paul Rudd.
The Power Glove.
They hyped it up in the most masterful, deceitful way. You could film a turd in an epic cinematic way and make it look like something you want. Well, they did a good job. You gotta hand it to them.
I would have loved
the
to have
glove
seen
on.
him like actually record a turd.
But here's
in
an
a cinematic
example
way.
of a
That'd have been
good
perfect.
commercial for a good product.
Batman, the video game.
Was a perfect movie tie-in.
Only
A
commercial
rare
I remember
example
about
when it was
the
done right.
old Tim Burton Batman movies is
This commercial
the one with
plays
the Diet
just like a
Pepsi.
movie trailer, and it is badass.
Let the battle
It was a Diet Coke.
begin.
And I love how Batman
I
picks
forgot.
up
It
his
was
own
some
game.
diet soda.
But perhaps the greatest game teaser that I remember was one that didn't even need to show any clips from the game. All you had was a bunch of kids chanting Mario, and then we zoom back to see the entire Earth, and all those kids make up the face of Mario.
I do remember seeing that.
Wow. Mario 3 is coming. What a statement. That this isn't just a game. This is a global phenomenon. One I'll never forget is that kid with the shrunken head who's playing Dr. Mario with the Witch Doctor.
I called the witch doctor, he told me what to do.
I don't know if this is gonna be copyright claim, so if there's no sound here, that's the reason why.
Play Dr. Mario on Game Boy.
That song is so catchy. I hadn't even heard it again till now, and it's already infiltrated my brain all over again.
I beat the witch doctor, and this is what he said. He said, ooh,
This commercial is insane.
Just a quick tip. If you have a song stuck in your head, do math problems. Just mentally do math problems. Don't really have to be anything super, like, demanding. Just anything that allows you to think for a second. Do about like 5 to 10 math problems, and usually you'll forget what song that was stuck in your head. Quick tip from Devon DaVinci.
This is what he said. He said, ooh,
This commercial is insane.
and then he struck my head.
And that final line
All
just
that playing
nails
together,
it.
and he still
And then he
screwed you
shrunk my
over.
head. I feel like as a kid, I just wanted to say that out of context all the time. Like, hey, Ma, I'm going outside to go roller skating at the cul-de-sac with Zach and Cody and Shannon. I'll be right back before dinner, okay? And then he shrunk my head.
No problemo.
Then in this series of commercials, there's this totally radical duo.
What is the name of this like character trope? Like, is it supposed to be like Radical Kid or like that Wayne's World? Totally tubular, but they're like laid back, kind of like potheads, but they're not potheads. They're just like, oh, it's like that Beavis Butthead Wayne's World type character. I don't really know what the actual name of that trope is. Let me know in the
Then
comments
in this
section.
series of commercials, there's this totally radical duo showing off the Game Genie.
Game over?
Game Genies.
They're like a poor man's version of Wayne and
Oh,
Garth
man.
and Bill and Ted all rolled
The
into
amount
one.
of codes
Game Genie.
I've put into games
Awesome video game enhancer for
from
your Nintendo
Game
Entertainment
Shark
System.
Why are they
to
so
Pro Action
hopped up?
Replay
You know, I don't think
to
this is
Code
about
Breaker
the Game Genie. I
to
think they
Game
got their
Genies
hands on something else.
is crazy.
Yeah, that genie gave him a wish, all right. Came in a puff of smoke. Dude, it gets you fucked up, man.
I only really mess with Game Genie with emulators, but
And tell me, why does the TV always have to explode?
I originally
Man,
jumped into
there's so
Code
much
Breakers
danger
and then I
in
got
these
into Game
commercials.
Sharks and
Like,
then
you better
later
watch
Pro
out.
Action
These
Replay.
games are so hot, they might destroy your whole fucking house. And if you didn't think the 80s and 90s were that insane, well, ask anyone who's been whisked away to a fiery chasm to play Game Boy against a robot warrior. Yeah,
Link
that shit
cable.
happened all the time. Totally normal.
Use the revolutionary video link and blow your opponent away. Game Boy, only from Nintendo.
I loved the Super Mario Land commercial, which put Mario into all those black and white movies like
I don't know anything about the Super Mario Land commercials. That was before my time. But I did play the hell out of Super Mario Land on the original Game Boy. My grandma used to have it, and that's one of the things I remember most about going to her house, because underneath her TV in a little cabinet, you open it and there's a little Game Boy sitting there. I think she had that for the kids or whatever that would come to visit. And I would just pop it in, and the entire like weekend I spent at her house, I'd just be locked in on Super Mario Land, just playing those like same 4 worlds. But it was fun. And then the music is also very nostalgic for me. So whenever I think back to Super Mario Land, the first game, it automatically takes me back to my grandmother's house. So if you have any memories of any type of video game moments that make you automatically think of like a particular time in your life that happens to be positive or whatever, be sure to let me know in the comment section. I would love to get like an idea of like how many like long-term memories were forged in people's heads from something very simple, like just the sound of a particular note from a video game song, or the smell of something. Like maybe the smell of pizza makes you think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, because that usually was something that was always like there in Pizza Hut restaurants. They always had like a TMNT arcade. Whenever I think of like pizza smells and stuff, the Pizza Hut didn't have the arcade in it, but I used to go to a Chuck E. Cheese a lot, and they had the Simpsons arcade game. So whenever I think of like those type of places that was very like, that had a lot of like games and ball pits and things like that, it takes me back to the Simpsons arcade game and the Lost World Jurassic Park shooting arcade game, because they had one of those booths in there also. That Chuck E. Cheese has some pretty good stuff in it.
I loved the Super Mario Land commercial, which put Mario into all those black and white movies like Earth versus the Flying Saucers and The Mummy. But the one that probably stuck out the most to me was the sequel with Wario.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master.
When this commercial was on the air, you would probably see it like 10 times a day. I think I actually felt hypnotized.
I think I do remember the Wario commercial though. I think I do remember this.
Can never get that voice out of my head. Obey Wario. When the Sega Genesis dropped, it was like a whole new
can't
world.
do this, Nintendo.
With their cocky,
Genesis
shit-talking
does.
ads, trashing Nintendo, it became
You can't
clear
do
the
this on
16-bit era
Nintendo.
would be much more competitive.
Genesis does. Genesis does.
All it took was a
Genesis
catchy
does.
hook and some celebrity shots,
Genesis
and it made it
does
feel
what
like the
Nintendo
hottest
don't.
shit. As a kid, I was susceptible enough to think that Michael Jackson was actually endorsing the Sega Genesis.
He kind of did. He kind of did. Michael Jackson was a big fan of video games, and I believe he was closely associated with the president of Sega, and he like that's something that helped broker the whole Moonwalker video game. Matter of fact, a lot of Michael Jackson's like associations in video game come from Sega games. Like obviously everybody knows about his collaborating with Sonic 3 to help make music for the like original releases of the game. He was in Rated Rumble Boxing, which is tied with Sega. He was in Space Channel 5, tied with Sega. So yeah, like Michael Jackson was a big Sega guy back in the day.
Jackson was actually endorsing the Sega Genesis. Nintendo answered with their next console, the
There
Super
it is.
Nintendo.
Paul Rudd.
The marketing wasn't as snarky as Sega's, and typically didn't even address Sega.
Yeah, and that's something that made me think back in the day, like Nintendo was the leading competitor, because they never acknowledged Sega, but Sega was like constantly taking shots at Nintendo. It's kind of like when you think of like in wrestling, like WCW was always taking shots at WWF. Well, they were kind of going back and forth, but I would say like TNA or AEW were taking shots at WWE, and it's like you don't have to take shots if you're in the lead. You only take shots at something that you're looking to knock down, and the only reason you would be looking to knock them down is because they're above you. So it's like stay in your lane and keep running your race. Yeah. I mean, growing up, I played Genesis more than Nintendo, but only because I had a Sega channel. So like I had like a ton of games on Nintendo or on Sega, but Nintendo still had like the better overall games in my opinion. But yeah, for me, it's kind of biased.
Instead, they just showed off an impressive library of games. And wait a minute, is that Paul Rudd?
Yup.
Yeah, it's Paul Rudd. Man, we had no idea that kid was gonna go places. He's gonna be in Halloween 6.
He don't look like a kid though. He looks like a. He looks like
now,
a.
As far as I'm concerned, the Super Nintendo
like
is a
an
much
adult
more
still.
advanced machine than the Genesis, but that didn't
Man
matter.
hasn't aged.
The misinformation campaign was in full swing, and all Sega had to say was, "Well, guess what?
Blast
Genesis
processing.
has blast processing." It didn't matter that it was
Blast
just
processing.
a gimmick. Kids believed it.
Didn't mean a
and
damn
Sega
thing.
rubbed it in your face. They actually made you feel bad for not owning.
See, that's what's missing nowadays. Like, especially when you look at like the PC market, and like people are like, you got Nvidia and AMD going after these like graphics cards, and like nowadays people are more familiar with the technical side of video games when it comes to like the megahertz that a CPU runs on, or like how many flops a graphics card has, or VRAM and things like that. Like we're more tech savvy when it comes to like behind the scenes on it. So like nowadays, blast processing, if it actually like if there was numbers behind it, would probably be like really good marketing nowadays. This is a very unfortunate pause, but yeah, like nowadays you could market blast processing and it would probably work if it has like some like actual gimmick stuff behind it. Like I know nowadays you have like the DLSS like AI generating frames for like Nvidia and stuff. Like instead of just calling it DLSS, call it blast processing. Like get back to the days when everything was like marketed. Like you had your talking points, you had your keywords that you would throw out there, and people would just like use them. Like it will go a long way nowadays, I think.
Kids believed it, and Sega rubbed it in your face. They actually made you feel bad for not owning a Genesis.
And what if you don't have blast processing?
Yeah, that's a shame, because Super Mario Kart
And when it was clear they were
the
actually
shit.
losing, they went into life support mode by making add-ons like the Sega CD.
You still
That
don't
was-
have a Sega CD? What are you waiting for? Nintendo to make
See,
one?
that was one of the
What's the guy's problem?
first steps.
He makes it sound like you're a
when it
total
came to the
loser for not
downfall of
owning a
Sega.
Sega CD. I mean, what the fuck, man? Just get a Sega CD already, asshole. And Nintendo, I mean, their idea of...
Oh God, this is the commercial. This is the one I'm talking about when I talk about like grossness. I remember this commercial so vividly when I was a kid. This used to make me sick, because this dude would just like eat and eat and eat and eat until eventually he exploded and all the food would go flying all over the place. Even before he exploded, like he had like all this food and stuff on his face, and I remember he grabbed like the straw that broke the camel's back was he had like some whipped cream or something. And I thought it was sour cream growing up, which is why I probably to this day still don't like sour cream. But he like whipped like this like white substance, pause, and then like ate it, and that's what caused him to explode. But it like this whole commercial was nauseating to me.
Asshole. And Nintendo,
Man.
I mean, their idea of getting back at Sega was to do shit like this.
Huge Yoshi tricks, all served up with the latest graphic technology.
The fuck?
Yeah. And then he explodes.
Super Mario World 2 only.
Oh, man.
What does a guy stuffing his face and exploding have to do with Yoshi's Island?
To be fair, the whole point of making a commercial is, one, you want it to be memorable, and two, you want people to associate the commercial with whatever product that you're selling. I still remember that Yoshi's Island commercial, so that means that it was memorable, and it's something that you still associate with the product. So in a way, it succeeded in what its aim was, but at what cost? How many people were traumatized from that commercial? Like, let me know in the comment section, those of you that remember that commercial, your first impressions when you first saw it, because I know what the hell I thought when I saw it. That shit made me sick.
Nothing. Nothing at all. But all hell broke loose when Mortal Kombat came to the home consoles. The kid stands out on the streets, arms raised, and screams Mortal Kombat like his life depends on it. It's more than just.
Wasn't there a name for the like release day of Mortal Kombat, like
soon flooded with
Mortal
other
Kombat
kids
Monday
who
or
heard the
something? I
call.
forgot exactly
No
what it was
longer
called.
would the game be confined to the arcades where it was guarded by the quarter hogs. Now we were taking it back on this day of our Lord, Mortal Monday.
There, yeah,
that
Mortal Monday.
scream
Okay.
was a call of freedom, a call that incited a riot over a video game. The Japanese commercials were even crazier, man. For Zelda: Link to the Past, they pulled out all the stops with an
That's
elaborate dance and rap. They weren't fucking around.
I can't even
This was
understand the
equivalent
language,
of a
but I can already tell just
Broadway
based on like the
production.
cadence and the
And
rhythm
seeing
that
a
it
live-action depiction of Ganon is a real treat.
it matches
Yeah, I
that.
can't lie.
Yo, I'm here to say da 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 da, like that same rap pattern. I guarantee, if someone that speaks Japanese can translate for us, I'm willing to bet it has that exact same goddamn rhythm to it.
And seeing a live-action depiction of Ganon is a real treat. Yeah, I can't lie. I wish we had these commercials, because it's pretty awesome.
Ganon used to confuse the shit out of me growing up, because it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
all
is
the
he a
Famicom
human
Japanese
or is he
commercials
a
were the ones
pig?
I
Like,
wish I could have seen back then.
because there was always two depictions
And this is
of them.
probably the closest you'll ever see to a live-action version of Street Fighter 2.
That's actually pretty cool. They should have made that into a damn movie.
Nowadays, you've seen enough cosplays and fan films and all that.
I mean,
so it's
still
not
get
very
Raul
surprising.
Julia, of course,
But
but
back then, seeing these characters in the flesh and blood was pretty mind-blowing. The following generation gave us a new wave of whacked-out commercials. Some of the craziest came from the 3DO. The kid is so taken back by its awesomeness that he gets utterly destroyed.
and that's why he's in an insane asylum, because only a crazy person would be that
Can you think of any
enthusiastic
ads
about the
that shows
3DO.
a kid's head rolling across the floor? And with the 3DO being a new contender in the console arena, they did not hold back at insulting both Nintendo and Sega.
The passive type probably plays Nintendo.
You're working late tonight.
Shit-talking was nothing new, but to
He
see
just spit on us?
actual abuse being done to the consoles was something else.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system,
I can certainly promise you nobody's throwing away their
what are you playing with?
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis over a
fuck those
damn
kids'
3DO.
toys. 3DO is the real deal. Then the
3DO
Atari
was such a
Jaguar
shit
came along,
console.
and since it had nothing to brag about, it hyped up Doom, which you could play on literally any other console. But they took it to biblical proportions, with a priest delivering a fiery sermon.
With fire and brimstone, lost souls and demons. And how do you escape?
Imagine going to church and the priest is ranting about doom. That would be my kind of church.
The way this priest is like rambling on about like all this like evil and dark stuff has me thinking of that scene from Vampire in Brooklyn when Eddie Murphy pretends to be the minister on the street talking about evil is good. Evil's good.
Imagine going to church and the priest is ranting about doom. That would be my kind of church. One of the better Atari Jaguar games was Alien vs. Predator, and it also happens to be one of the scariest commercials.
You might not want to play it alone.
Ha! Look at the kid's face. Give him some glasses and he looks like you-know-who.
Oh, God. Got face violated.
Mom?
Did the alien kill his mom?
The fuck? There's nothing like it. The alien is brushing him with his dead mom's arm. That is messed up.
Yeah, that's pretty dark.
On that note, here's an ad for the FM Towns computer in Japan.
Interesting.
What's going on here?
Turn into a witch?
Why is there a creepy face?
I can pause on that. I know how to work the frames. Let's see. There it is. The hell?
Why is there a creepy face? It's like you blink and you almost miss it. I would pause it, but I don't even want to pause it.
I already did. Matter of fact, let's go back.
I would pause it, but
damn it, I wanted to stop it on it by itself, but whatever. Yeah.
But I don't even want to pause it. What the fuck, man? Why? Just why?
I don't know what they were saying. Maybe
it's safe to say
what they said was
they don't make them
it,
like they used to. This retro period was an isolated time when commercials were off the wall and batshit insane. But afterwards, nothing weird ever happened. I would say by the time they got to PS3, they wouldn't do anything like that, would they?
No, I knew it. I knew this was the fucking commercial he was gonna pull out. I knew it. Sony was on some fucking bullshit when this came out. I remember like articles online that were just talking about like how crazy this stuff was and how like they had, I don't know if they hired somebody like a particular firm or whatever to make those commercials, but that the people that they hired to do the commercials were known for doing like really like crazy stuff. And yeah, I knew as soon as he said like we'd never seen anything like that on PS3, I knew he was gonna pull out that commercial. That commercial was fucking insane. The early PS3 commercials were nuts. But yeah, again, let me know if you guys have any commercials that are on the top of your head that you remember from when you were a kid. Anything that like is nostalgic that draws that feeling from you. In particular, anything that's video game related, because not only would it be relevant to the video itself, but just to keep everything in that same like bubble. I'm just curious to know what people's different tastes and like experiences were when it came to video games. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Devon DaVinci. I had a lot of fun watching this. I love going back to Angry Video Game Nerds content. I will support him until he stops making stuff. Or if something comes out and he ends up getting canceled or some crazy stuff, but I don't think that would happen. Knock on wood. Let's hope he doesn't have any skeletons in his closet that are that significant. But with that being said, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. And until then, I'm Devon DaVinci, and I'm signing out. Again, be sure to be on the lookout for my socials in the description box down below if you want to try to reach me outside of these video uploads themselves. I'm very active on Discord, as I said before. Be sure to check out Angry Video Game Nerds channel. The icon will pop up over here somewhere in the last 20 seconds. It might already be popped up, so there you go. Anyway, I'm gonna give you the deuces, and I'm signing out. So DaVinci out. Peace.